tough shot, and then, just a dumb mistake on my part. I was trying to get the ball out quick and get it to Kevin, and it's one of those things where he was cutting to the rim, and I was kind of throwing the ball where I thought he was going to be going, and I had a timeout. Should have been more cognizant of it and just taking care of the ball. So definitely just a big mistake on my part. Especially down the stretch like that. Those are timely possessions, and even though the defensive effort wasn't great, we still should have won this game. And a lot of it comes down to the timely possession.
Nets World, we're back. It's Nets News. Hashtag We Go Hard. Make sure you guys like the video to support. Subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any breaking news. Make sure you guys also follow me on Instagram at NetsKingdom711. I do stream games on IG Live. Hit me up on there. Oh man, it was a tough loss. A lot of overreaction from the internet, the Nets haters. A lot of overreaction saying the Nets are doomed, as I expected. But last night it was a painful loss. But after a nice rest, I just got to get over it, move on to the next game. I really didn't know an NBA team was capable of that level of poor defense, y'all. It's just mind-boggling. So I'm worried about the Nets defense, and I'm really worried about the coaching. I get Steve Nash is new, but it's over and over again, he's making the same mistakes. He's making the same mistakes over and over again. He needs to just make these adjustments. Getting Norvell Pell involved, showing different exotic looks on defense, installing a zone, a 1-2-2, a 2-3. We're getting crushed on the boards and in the paint. He's got to make these adjustments. You got to make some type of adjustments. 72 points in the paint last night, that's just unacceptable. Also, Steve, you got to use your timeouts wisely. When you see a team struggling or your opponent hits a big shot, that's just simple basketball logic. I don't know if I'm bugging, but it's just simple high school, elementary shit. You got to just take a timeout. Call timeouts. Playing the game. It's just part of playing the game. Somebody hits a big shot, timeout. Your team's on a 10-0 run, timeout. He's just got to get the habit of that, y'all. He experiments too much with wrong rotations. He doesn't stick to what works. He's not staggering KD and Kai's minutes in the second quarter. In the second quarter, we up by 18. He puts Tyler Johnson and Landry Shamet to lead the second unit. That's not going to work. Perry was a -10 and plus-minus in just 6 minutes. He had 4 fouls in 2 minutes. Then we lost the lead. And then you call a timeout, Steve. You call a timeout, right? You see that we lost the 18-point lead, and then you just keep the same guys in. That doesn't work. You got to make adjustments as a coach. As a head coach in the NBA, you have to make adjustments. That doesn't bother me right now because it's the regular season, but the reason I'm harping on that, guys, is because in the playoffs, that's where it's going to matter. That's where it's going to matter the most, in the playoffs. These little mistakes, timeouts, rotations, defensive adjustments, that's going to hurt us in the playoffs. It's not going to matter right now. It's the regular season, but that's why I'm worried about the Nets defense and the coaching. It's just have to do better. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we have to panic, but it's just got to be better, Steve. It got to be better. This whole thing got to be better. He's got to do better, y'all. But let's get into the Los Angeles Clippers. Let me stop ranting. So we're here to talk about the Clippers. Now the Clippers are 16-5. They're the number one team in the West. They're the number 7 in total offense and scoring. They're 13th in defense. They're number 1 in 3-point percentage, and they're 5th in 3-pointers made per game. So basically, the Clippers are a lethal offensive team and a good defensive team. That's why they're the number 1 team in the West. But the reason why they're the number 1 is because they hurt teams by their sharp and efficient 3-point shooting. They're number 1 in 3-point percentage, y'all. But things to look out for that I found about the Clippers: they're last in total rebounds per game, and they're 27th in points in the paint. So they don't hurt teams by beating you up on the boards or in the paint. It's on the perimeter. That's where they kill teams. So rebounding shouldn't be a problem for us. If the Nets are focused and box out this game, we're gonna need our perimeter defenders to just step up big time. You know what I mean? The rebounding shouldn't hurt us because the Clippers are not really a big rebounding team. They're last in rebounds, y'all. So perimeter defenders, I wish we had Iman for this game, but Bruce and TLC will have to defend well because Paul George and Kawhi are the best wings in the NBA. So we're going to need wing defenders. Now the Clippers roster, they usually start Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nicholas Batum, Serge Ibaka. But I think Pat Bev is hurt and Nicholas Batum is day-to-day, so they started Reggie Jackson and Patrick Peterson in their starting lineup last game. But, you know, every time I make these guys, everybody's healthy. You know what I mean? I'll say they're injured in these previews, and then the next game they're healthy. So let's just expect the starters to play. Now, the super X factors for the Clippers off the bench are actually the whole bench. The X factor is the whole bench. The Clippers honestly have the best bench in the NBA. They're led by the 6th man of the year, Lou Williams. He's a walking bucket. He scores at all 3 levels. They got Marcus Morris coming off the bench. He's an amazing scorer. Luke Leonard, a 3-point sharp shooter. He's a marksman. Then you got Zubac. He's a decent center. Great rebounder, great screener. He scores in the paint also. So the whole Clippers bench is the X factor because they have the best bench in the NBA. Their bench is lethal, y'all. So Steve Nash, you cannot fuck around. He can't mess around and put a second unit of Tyler Johnson and Shamet versus the best bench in the NBA. We will get killed. Like, I'm gonna assume Harden will play, so he got to be key for our bench. But again, I've been arguing the whole year we should bring Joe Harris with Harden off the bench to fight the Clippers bench, because the Clippers have the best bench. So we're gonna need Joe Harris to help Harden off on our second unit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see Tyler Johnson again. Please don't put Tyler Johnson out there against Steve Nash. So I could make a 20-minute video on the Clippers offense, but I'm not gonna do that, y'all. You guys know how great they are. And I'm just going to focus on who's going to hurt us the most and who we have to key in on to take him out the game. Now, we all know Kawhi is a top 3 player. He's in the league. He's averaging 26 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 41% from 3. He is the best two-way player in basketball, and we can't let him go off. But I have a feeling that Kevin Durant and Kawhi are just going to cancel each other out. So I'm not going to break down Kawhi. I'm going to break down the number one guy we need to focus on that might kill us is Paul George. And I know what y'all saying, Pandemic P, way off P, blah, blah, blah. But no. Paul is an amazing player. He's still an all-star, one of the most talented guards in the NBA. Now, Paul George is averaging 24 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and a 5.4 assists per game, shooting an amazing 45.4% from 3, y'all. He's shooting better than Kawhi from 3-point range, y'all. He might be shooting almost as good as Joe Harris from 3. So we must take Paul George out the game, y'all. Paul George is that big X factor that we gotta this whole Clippers team is amazing, but Paul George, we gotta take him out the game. Now, Paul George makes everything look effortless, y'all. He's one of the most fluid, gifted, all-around players in the NBA. And when you combine that with being 6'9", 6'10", explosive and efficient, it just makes him one of the most gifted players in the NBA. So he's capable of taking over a game at any time in various ways. He can play off the ball using screens, catch and shoot, backdoor cuts. He has a quick release because he never brings the ball down when he shoots. Like, if you guys watch Paul George shoot, he keeps it high and then releases his shot going straight into his shooting motion. Now, a lot of players, when they catch the ball, they bring it down to set their feet when they catch and shoot, but Paul doesn't do that. He keeps it high, sets his feet quick, and shoots. That's why his release is so quick. Now, PG is one of his go-to moves. I mean, he can score at will, but his go-to moves, he loves his one dribble pull-up, his snatchbacks, and he scores in a multitude of ways. But again, he's that type of player that can take you. His off the dribble shooting is a really, really good. It's his catch and shoot got a lot better because he's shooting 45% from 3, but he's that type of player that he is just gonna face you up, dribbles, catch you off a pull. He's gonna look at your hips, see if you can guard him or not. He's gonna take advantage, go by you, pull up shot. He's still bouncy at the end of the day. He can dunk on you, so he'll go to the basket and draw a foul, or he can just pull up, shoot. You know what I mean? So it's really a multitude of ways Paul George can score. You can't really shut him down. You can shut him down, but I'm saying if we slow Paul George down, then it will be a huge benefit for the Nets because, again, Kawhi is going to do his thing, and I feel like KD will cancel out Kawhi because they're both amazing superstars. They're going to score and defend each other at a high rate, so they're going to cancel each other out, but Paul George is going to be that key. We need to shut down Paul George. Now, my second key we have to look out for is Serge Ibaka. And it's just overall, Serge is just an amazing center. And the center play for the Clippers is just amazing, y'all, because besides Andre Drummond and Jared Allen being one of the best center duos, I think Serge and Zubac are just one of the best center duos in the NBA, y'all. So you guys know our weakness is centers. So the center duo for the Clippers are going to be lethal for us. Now, listen to these stats. In the Nets' last 5 games, opposing centers are averaging 31.4 points, 14.6 rebounds per game. You guys know Bam had 40, Vucevic 34, Drummond and Jarrett 20 apiece each, Clint Capella, Al Horford, all gave the Nets buckets, y'all. And I told y'all before, the OKC game, I told y'all in the preview, go back and watch the preview against OKC. I said DeAndre Jordan cannot guard mobile stretch 5 centers. We have to go small with Jeff Green at center. And you know what Steve Nash does? He puts DJ right on Al Horford, right? And Horford shoots 3 from 4 from 3 in the first quarter. So I'm looking at him like, come on, son, we know DJ can't guard mobile centers. So again, going into this game, Serge is lethal from 3, y'all. Serge is averaging 12.6 rebounds, shooting 40% from 3. So DeAndre he's not going to stand a chance against Serge, y'all. I'm telling you guys right now, he's not going to stand a chance against Serge. Now, he had 15 points against the Knicks. So Serge had 15 points against the Knicks, and he shot 3 from 4 from 3-point range. So again, Serge is one of those players that he's going to pick and pop. He's going to set screens, and he's going to pop. He doesn't really roll. 9 times out of 10, he's going to pop to that 3, and they're going to find Serge, and he's going to shoot that. You know what I mean? You cannot leave Serge open, y'all. He will be he could hurt us the most because DeAndre Jordan is going to be a liability this game. And I mean, and they bring Zubac off the bench, so it's gonna just hurt us even more because Zubac can set screens and score too. So you combine that, and it's just a bad matchup. Zubac off the bench will bully Reggie Perry. He's 7'1". He's a great rebounder. You know the Nets struggle with points in the paint, so it's like 72 points in the paint last game, and then we're going into this game with Zubac coming off the bench. He's an amazing paint scorer, and then Serge killing us from 3. It's just a bad center matchup for us guys. So we just got to be careful. We got to lock down defensively, y'all. Now, I watched a lot of Clippers basketball, and there's a lot of offense that they just play a lot of one-on-one. They don't run a lot of sets when it's basically just Kawhi and Paul George using their gifts and stuff like that. So it's a lot of one-on-one play. But again, the only way the Nets can make this out of this is we can't go into a scoring because they got 3 scores. The Clippers got 3 scores that can go for 40. Paul George, Kawhi, and Lou Williams. So we can't do what we did against the Wizards and just score who can score the most, because the Clippers can score with us. You know what I mean? We have to lock down defensively. That is the key, y'all. But let me know in the comments how you feel about the Clippers. Can we win this game? Can we bounce back? Will we see Norvell Pell? Who knows, man? It's another episode. I appreciate you guys, all the support, Nets Nation. Make sure you guys hit me up on IG, like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments how you feel. I'm out.